This is Your Brain on Drugs by Michael Martinez.
Imagine your consciousness like a finely tuned control panel. All the variables and mental functions your brain is capable of doing are tuned to exactly the right specifications. This baseline setting is what you consider your normal consciousness. Each button and dial changes one of your mental functions in some way. The shiny blue bar affects your memory, the large dial changes your perception. Hit the green button and your imagery and fantasies affect. As silly as it sounds, it's the best way to describe altering your state of consciousness, and it is exactly what drugs do. It seems obvious, but an altered state of consciousness is just that, altered. There's a particular misconception that you sort of switch over into one state of consciousness or another. Like, after you've had a certain amount of drinks, you flip the switch and woo, you're drunk. Well, not quite. The truth is closer to the control panel I described earlier. Drugs and other ASC-inducing experiences are the hands that fool around with the buttons and dials and sliders of your brain's control panel, allowing you to experience various different states in your consciousness. G.W. Farthing proposed a list that all mental functions controlled by the mind can fall under, in one way or another. These include attention, self-control, memory, time perception, and higher-level thought processes. All altered states affect one or more of these mental functions in one way or another. Of this list, however, three mental functions play a major role in most ASCs. These are attention, memory, and arousal. Attention is the most flexible of these three functions because it functions on two dimensions. Attention can be focused inwardly or outwardly. For example, when you're asleep and dreaming, you shut out all, or most, of outside stimuli, and your attention focuses inside your own mind. Attention can also be broadly or narrowly focused, i.e., if you're stoned and staring at your carpet, you can either notice some particular details that remind you of a long-lost childhood memory, or burst into a fit of laughter because it looks funny. Memory is perhaps the most often affected mental function when in an altered state of consciousness. Not to pick on marijuana too much, but one interesting effect is the malleability of time. Because your short-term memory is so affected when high, you tend to lose track of time. So, you may think you've been watching SpongeBob for hours, but in fact it's only been 15 minutes. Now, don't get the wrong idea. Arousal in this case isn't about sexuality, but refers to your state of activity. Depressants like morphine and alcohol induce low states of arousal, while stimulants like caffeine, cocaine, and MDMA induce high states. This is sort of obvious, but it's why stoners have the stereotype of lying around sluggishly, and MDMA inspires people to dance all night, risking dehydration. It's even the reason why you drink coffee, to keep you up through the wee hours of the morning while you're working on a project. There are a wide range of drugs that affect these mental functions. Some have everyday purposes, some do not, but it is impossible to draw a firm line between good drugs and bad drugs. For the purpose of this project, I will be focusing primarily on psychedelics, but it's worth talking about some of the other types of drugs. Let's start with stimulants. Stimulants are drugs that increase mental function and are often associated with wakefulness, alertness, and high energy. While these include the mostly harmless nicotine and caffeine, it also includes the much more powerful and addictive cocaine. By inhibiting the reuptake of dopamine in the brain, cocaine causes feelings of euphoria and fills the user with energy. Cocaine is also extremely addictive. Don't use it. The next major group of drugs are called depressants. Depressants suppress arousal levels and affect mental and physical functions as well, although with wildly different results. Depressants include narcotics such as heroin and morphine, antidepressants, anesthetics to suppress pain, and everyone's favorite, alcohol. Few depressants actually have the properties required to induce an altered state of consciousness, but two very notable exceptions in this category include alcohol and opium. Opium, while cultivated from the same plant as heroin and morphine, has some extreme euphoric effects, so much so that it inspired Samuel Taylor Coleridge to write his epic poem, Kubla Khan. Whoa, dude. Psychedelics are the major category of drugs I wanted to talk about today. It is generally accepted that psychedelic drugs are those that affect memory and perception, including hallucinogens, to a much larger level, as opposed to stimulants and depressants, which produce a different but still similar level of consciousness. Ganja, grass, pot, Mary Jane, wacky tobacco, herb, tree, dope, weed. No matter what you call it, cannabis is the most widely consumed drug in the world. The main active ingredient in cannabis is delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, also known as THC. This works with other cannabinoids to produce the primary psychoactive effects felt when smoking marijuana. Now, because I know no one watching this has ever experimented with marijuana, I feel it is important to discuss the effects. The only problem is, the effect of marijuana is so subjective that people often have difficulty describing the experience. Some people may experience euphoria, delight, and relaxation, while others may suffer from paranoia, self-consciousness, and anxiety. For this reason, the altered state induced by marijuana is often extremely personal. Some people enjoy it, some do not. Universally, however, most people report a sense of time slowing down, enhancement of senses, and a severely impaired short-term memory. Perhaps the most famous and most intense psychedelic drug is LSD, or D-lysergic acid diethylamide. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, Professor. Albert Hofmann, a Swiss chemist, once accidentally synthesized LSD while studying a deadly fungus that grows on rye. He started feeling ill, and when he went home, he underwent a series of incredible hallucinations. In cruder terms, he began tripping balls. LSD, or acid as it is colloquially known, is often related to spiritual experiences. There's a running theme among users that they are going on a trip, no pun intended. The idea of a journey recurs often, usually with themes of spirituality or self-discovery. While this ASC is often associated with elation and euphoria, LSD can become nightmarish quickly. Often experiences are either extremely uplifting or extremely horrifying. Like Alice leaving the rabbit hole, we come to the end of our journey. I realize this project may have raised more questions than it answered. Inducing altered states of consciousness, while perhaps not always legal, is one of the best ways scientists can understand consciousness as a whole. If our brains are so sensitive to such minute changes of chemicals, what does that say about our normal level of consciousness? What are the implications for mental health patients? And, more importantly, if our perception of the world is so subjective, how can we ever be sure of our reality?